Previously on the Jay and Dan podcast.
So I go to put my key in the door, and I open the door, and there's Dan in his gitch.
I'll have some applesauce.
At any point when you were growing up on the farm, and you were experiencing a sexual awakening, did you consider having sex with any of the animals?
In English.
Opera of is what
You can't keep saying that.
Well, I'm testing our sensors.
It's been fun. Can't wait for episode number 3, if we're still allowed.
You're listening to the Jay and Dan podcast, brought to you by Mark's Never Iron Perfectly Pressed Shirts.
Dongs. Dongs. Hey, we're back. They let us do a third one.
We haven't even started the podcast, and you already gave me the heebie-jeebies.
What did I do?
I always come prepared. I've got a writing utensil. You don't have one. And you caressed my hand to get my attention for me to pass you my Sharpie.
I did. I touched your finger.
Oh, but no, you didn't touch. You stroked my hand.
I did not stroke it. Not like the head of Spectre in a Bond movie with his cat.
Oh, literally, I keep feeling like a ghost is passing through me. Like I'm ha.
You a little bit turned on right now?
No, creeped out.
So you're saying I stroked your hand. I brushed your hand in a very sexual and provocative way.
Yes, and I don't even have my Sharpies with me. Sharpie, they sent us a bunch of Sharpies way back, but I've got this cheap knockoff, the Slarpie.
Oh yeah, I mean that thing. Yeah, I mean kids are doing all sorts of crazy. Kids are doing all sorts of crazy drugs right now. Special K.
Bath
salts, butt chugging. We're going to be talking about butt chugging a lot in this podcast. The Jay and Dan podcast brought to you by Mark's Perfectly Pressed Shirts. But those Sharpies, those imitation Sharpies that we have could get you higher than any of those substances ever could. They are potent.
Our last podcast and the first one before, someone pointed out, because when we fill in on the radio, on TSN radio, we like to have a beverage. Someone noticed that on our first 2 podcasts, we didn't crack a beverage. So.
Oh, here we go. There it is. Oh, crispy.
A Molson Gold. Actually, Molson Golden doesn't come.
Is that an OV?
I don't even think Molson Golden is produced anymore.
Hey,
yes,
Chris Barch sent you some OV. I got into it with some people on Twitter this week because I read Chris Barch's. In case you didn't know, Chris Barch. Who now, I believe, signed with the Devils, is, sent out a ton of tweets on Saturday night. He had a few drinks. He had some port, and he had what he described as 8 OVs, 8 old Viennas. And what I took away from his long rant about not being able to play hockey was people still drink OVs, and to my surprise, a lot of people were pretty upset that I would even suggest or question that.
You don't question people's beer of choice.
No, I guess not. It was not so much I was questioning their beer of choice. I just didn't even realize they made that OV anymore.
I grew up on Molson Golden. That's what my dad drank, and I never saw it in anyone else's fridge. So my brothers would buy Molson Golden because if you brought that to a party, you knew if someone was walking around with a bottle of Molson Golden, they took it from the fridge. It's yours.
That's right. Or they probably just wouldn't touch it at all.
Exactly.
And then you'd have all your beer intact for the night.
It's like gravel.
Just leave it right there for yourself.
Hey, I was in Peterborough today.
Yeah, your hometown.
My hometown of Peterborough, Ontario. And I mentioned on our first podcast that the Mark's Warehouse, more than just... that jingle's gone.
Right.
No, that jingle was in Peterborough.
What?
I heard it on the radio.
No.
Yep.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you brought this up because the Marks people aren't going to be happy about that.
Well, I don't think it's not a renegade ad promotion.
No, it is. There's a renegade ad agency in Peterborough, Ontario that's running all these old jingles, probably running old jingles for like Pro Stars and cereals that don't exist anymore.
So anyway, I came up with my own jingle.
Well, let's hear it. Before we get to that, I'm going to send out, follow us on Twitter, at Jay and Dan TSN, at Jay Onright, at TSN O'Toole. I'm going to send a picture of the shirt Dan is wearing tonight. Dan is not actually working tonight on SportsCenter because your vacation is beginning.
Right after the show.
Right after the podcast is over, you're on vacay.
Yeah, you know where I'm going.
You're going to Cuba.
Yeah.
Authentic
How great was that ad campaign?
Well, it's effective.
It should be followed by the.
Yeah. Just play. Christoph, can you play that one more time? And this is how it's. This is how I envision this ad. Okay, so you're going on. That's a Cuban tourism ad.
Oh, it almost made nos come out my nose. Sorry. You were saying, yes, I'm dressed like a gas station attendant, which I was in my former life.
You literally are wearing a shirt. I thought you had just come from the Shell and maybe that you needed to take an extra job to supplement your income.
I worked at an oil co on Lansdowne Street in Peterborough, pumping gas. That's when you got real service.
Yeah, that's right. You came out. What did you do? You changed the oil?
No chance.
No?
You know what? I saw a lot. I won't even discuss it.
Okay. Well, that was a good segue. Good job.
Anyway, okay, you're saying I dressed like a bum. Yes.
You are. No, now let's go back to Cuba. You are bringing my understanding is you're bringing like a jar of Nutella?
I'm bringing Nutella. I'm bringing hot sauce. I'm bringing peanut butter.
It's like a picnic, and it just happens to be in Cuba. You have to take a plane to get there.
Duthie, James Duthie, I'm just name dropping here.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
He emailed me today, said, hey, you want to go golfing Friday? I said, hey, I'm going to be on a beach on Friday in Cuba. He says, why don't you pick a real island?
Whoa.
Sorry, Duthie. We don't have all NHL on TSN money.
Yeah. Well, sorry, Duthie. We don't have your schedule right now. Doing nothing. Sitting in your estate in Aurora with your Geminis, polishing your Geminis. I was going to say he was polishing something else. We want to thank the Sklar brothers for being on the show last week and all your feedback. We really appreciate the feedback that you gave us. And we actually they ended up being on the Rich Eisen podcast, which is a great podcast. Rich Eisen from the NFL Network, used to host SportsCenter on ESPN. Big Rich Eisen fans. We both are big Rich Eisen fans. And Rich Eisen included us in his international shout-out on his podcast this week.
Remember? I was, yes. Canadian Sports Center.
Put you up on
my
the board.
tweet after the Monday night game.
Beautiful. I love those guys.
Sports Center.
Jay Onright. Jay Onright and Dan O'Toole, the guys who do it up there, are fantastically funny, great guys. So there you go. To those guys.
Very, very good.
Very good.
Wow.
That was nice, eh?
Very nice. We still have to send them some Mark's clothing because every guest that we have on the show gets clothing.
Why not?
Why not, eh?
You know what? That was a clip from our first podcast. I get at least 20 tweets a day with that as the hashtag.
People love why not, eh?
Why not, eh?
And last week was the PAB, People Against Bare Bums.
That's right.
And on the way in.
You know what else was last week? There was something else that I also enjoyed from last week. Mm-hmm.
You know who's definitely not supporting PAB? Strippers.
Yeah, I guess
People Against Bare Bums.
Right. They're protesting. They're picketing outside the PAB offices right now.
Anti-PAB.
All the girls from the Brass Rail and the Sundowner.
Thursdays, the strip joint in my hometown closed down.
Club Super Sex.
I don't know.
They're all protesting. So we have Ewan Currie from the Sheepdogs on the show this week, kind of tying it in. Jason and Randy Sklar directed the Sheepdogs video.
Oh, that's...
Sheepdogs have a new album out. Good Saskatoon boys. We wanted to talk to Ewan. He's a huge sports fan, so we'll be talking to him. And we'll also be talking to Aaron Ward about butt chugging.
Pardon?
Yeah, it's true. Butt chugging. We're going to talk about this whole butt chugging incident.
Yeah, see, I know nothing about this. I see this on a rundown, butt chugging, and someone denying reports that they consumed alcohol through the rectum.
That's right. Yeah, in case you don't know, butt chugging is the act of ingesting alcohol through one's rectum.
But wouldn't that just be an enema?
It's an intoxicant enema, as they call it.
But it wouldn't stay up there, would it?
Yeah, but what it does is it bypasses the vomiting reflex. It gets the active ingredients into your blood system faster than it would if you ingested them through your mouth. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so Do you pour it yourself?
I think what you do is maybe you do a handstand, and then someone puts a funnel right up there.
I don't
and
want
then you
any
just
part
pour the beer in that way. Should we? Maybe this podcast should be all about Dan trying butt chugging for the first time.
If I walk into a party and that's happening, I'm walking the other way.
See, the thing is, you're about to go to Cuba, so you could butt chug here, and then you'll be butt vomiting in Cuba. That's what you can call diarrhea. I butt vomited.
There's a lot of bathroom talk.
Well, to get the real story about butt chugging, we're calling in our TSN senior butt chugging expert, Aaron Ward. Wardo, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
Well, we're great. We're fascinated by this story about this young man.
Let's qualify this.
Okay, let's hear it.
The reason we know about butt chugging is the lockout has reduced me to having to scour the internet for something interesting to read. And this is what I've been reduced to. I've been reduced to a school in Tennessee, that being the University of Tennessee, and you got to see it on the internet.
Yeah, basically.
The lawyer they hired looks like it came right out of Andy Griffith's show, right out of Mayberry.
Well, what happened was, so we'll explain it. Last week, a University of Tennessee fraternity member was hospitalized after he butt-chugged wine, and then they had to do a press conference. They hired a lawyer, and all his frat brothers were standing around him wearing sunglasses and suits. It was just priceless. And
that was my favorite. Did you see the number of guys that would not show their eyes?
Oh,
yeah. Especially in the South. I mean, I live in the South. I live in Carolina, but Tennessee is a whole different breed. Can you imagine the proud parents going, "That's my son. He pledged that fraternity," and I said it was great. I came down for Parents Weekend. It was awesome. We butt chugged, but we were supposed to keep that a secret. Seriously, you have no more prim, proper people than the people in the South. And there they are, the guys in their suits and their sunglasses, just pure slips, trying to. If they could disfigure themselves in the moment, they would have.
Yeah, they probably would have. And the other thing I loved about this whole thing is that the kid who was hospitalized for butt chugging the wine was very adamant that he made clear that he wasn't gay. This wasn't a gay act. Nobody even asked him that question, but he wanted to make sure everyone knew that.
And the lawyer they chose is a perfect guy to deliver and he's not guy.
Well,
just for the record, he's not guy.
Well, speaking of that, Wardo, we have the attorney for the young man in the case. We have a clip from him here. Let's take a listen.
Mr. Broughton, and it is Broughton, not Broughton. It's Broughton, Scotch.
What?
Denies each and every allegation whatsoever that has been inferred that he may be a gay man. He is a straight man, and he thinks that the idea and the concept of butt chugging is absolutely repulsive.
First off, you know you're in trouble when your lawyer doesn't know your name.
Wait, better yet, that looks like a skinny Wilford Brimley. If you see him on video, that is Wilford Brimley, Weight Watchers version.
That's right. That's Wilford Brimley after Slim Fast.
Yes.
Actually, that's Wilford Brimley after butt vomiting. And then we have the young man, Mr. Broughton or Broughton. They ask him if he wasn't butt chugging that night. What exactly was he doing? What was he doing?
Xander, can you clarify what did happen that day?
It's a long story. It's a long story.
Hey, I'd love to tell you, but I don't have time. Even though I called you here for this press conference and there are all these cameras around, I can't explain it. But just know I'm not gay.
It was quite a night.
And I was hospitalized.
If you're going to butt chug something, wine does not seem like the appropriate thing to butt chug.
No, you go light beer at least. Don't you?
Really? I go hard liquor, just get it done.
Yeah. Just tequila.
Why mess around? Yeah, exactly. I mean, essentially, I got to tell you, and this is going to be maybe an indictment on my sick sense of humor. Butt chugging in a bathroom has to be. You talked about rear end vomiting. It's got to be a whole lot cleaner than mouth vomiting because you've already got it pretty much sealed off.
Yeah, I guess you maybe do. All I know is that tequila might burn that rectum.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wardo.
Well, here's the first question. Who the hell decided that this was a good thing to experiment with? I want to know the first guy to blame that said, you know what, let's grab a
Well, I'll tell you who, Wardo. It was Stevie Nicks, because I heard Stevie Nicks when her like nostrils fused together because she did so much cocaine. She had like one of her assistants put it up her butt when she was like really addicted to cocaine back in the Fleetwood Mac days. That's at least what I read in some
Wardo,
tabloid.
I blame the lockout, because you said you're already bored and you're reaching the end of the internet. So
I'm dying. I am absolutely dying. Like, the lockout couldn't be anything worse for a marriage. Like, you are not supposed to spend that much time with your wife.
Ask O'Toole. He spends the whole day with his wife.
Seriously, I sit at home and my wife's like, seriously, you got to get out of here. I know you have a job, but go get another one because you got to get out of here. And it is. We agree. Like, I sit on the internet and scour the worst stuff ever.
I think you should apply to the University of Tennessee.
I think a next segment on our next podcast is Aaron Ward's search history. I think we should run through that. Hey, Wardo, is there going to be hockey this year? What's happening?
In terms of you assign a percentage, I'd say 75% no, 25% yes. I think they're so stuck right now at finding a starting point that and there's so many more factors involved right now. In 2005, it was a salary cap, no salary cap. Now we're talking about billions of dollars. There's a difference about what wasn't present, and there was a scarcity of money in 2005. Now there's an overabundance, and that brings out the worst of all traits in humans, and that's greed. So everybody wants their fair share, and right now there's not enough to go around. So I don't foresee this getting resolved very quickly.
I'll tell you what I think the worst trait in humans is the desire to go butt chugging.
Well, I'm going to give you a guarantee right now. I'm on the east coast of Carolina. I'm going fishing tomorrow for tuna and wahoo, and there is a little bit of a redneck element where I'm at right now, where Carolina is actually pronounced without the R-O. It's Carolina. And I can guarantee you, if there's butt chugging going on, I will not be finding it.
Well, I already heard some Southern in you when you said internet. You said internet.
That's because I've been drinking Jameson.
Oh, perfect. Well, here's hoping you're putting through the right hole, Wardo.
When you catch me at this time of night, I can't guarantee that I haven't consumed something.
Perfect. We're going to have you on every week.
I'm not Schultze level, but I'm.
Oh, Schultze's obliterated every time he's on TV.
Yeah. I mean, that guy sets a standard that none of us can achieve.
I'm not going to talk to him about butt chugging, though. He might smack me in the face.
Wardo, thanks for coming on.
Hey, anytime. I'm actually, like I said, I got time on my hands, so I'm here every week for it. Every week. And I will make it my mission to find something utterly disgusting about humanity that we can discuss every single week.
I love it.
Our internet insider, Aaron Ward.
Thanks, Wardo.
Yeah, watch how you use the word insider. Talk to you.
There he is.
It was almost like a cry for help. I'm really bored.
He's bored. His marriage is crumbling.
You know what the new thing is?
He's got Jameson up his ass.
You know what the new thing on the internet is? Have you seen it? If you go to sports sites like Deadspin,
the one new thing on the internet.
The one new thing. GIFs. GIFs. GIFs.
You're just discovering that now.
They're everywhere. But
That's saying, you know what the new thing on the internet is? Emails. You don't have to get a stamp.
But a GIF, no one has a clue what it is. And I actually had to look it up. It is graphics interchange format.
Right. No, but everybody knows what it is. I don't know if everyone knows it. I used to think it was GIFs, but yeah, it is GIFs, right?
And what it is, it's the small pictures that move. So the Tom Brady, when he called his teammates effing bees.
Effing bees. Can't wait till hashtag effing bees is trending.
That was the GIF of the week. Again, like,
how are you just discovering GIFs now? Like, you sound like an old.
We have the worst words on the internet. We have blogs, horrible word. Podcasts, I hate it. GIFs, I despise.
Wow, you really sound young and vibrant and a part of the. Why don't you just move into an old folks home?
Can't we name after Care Bears or something?
Name all the different things on the internet after Care Bears?
Why not, eh?
I guess we could. Hey, I wanted to mention something very quickly. Thomas Staku, the Atlanta Falcons. People have probably heard this by now, but he was on SportsCenter this past Sunday, and you and I are huge fans of Super Troopers.
Yes.
I think there are a lot of Super Troopers fans out there. It's just a hilarious movie. It's not just a stoner movie, but it kind of is a stoner movie. But it's just a funny movie. Has one of the funniest opening scenes of any movie I've ever seen. And Thomas Deku, in that movie, the state troopers play a little game with drivers they pull over called the meow game. They slip the word meow into all their sentences sort of subtly. And so first let's hear what Thomas Deku said to the Sports Center anchor when he was being interviewed by him on Sunday.
Meow. Meow, I think it's just because, I think it's just kind of crazy. Now, I would say that. I would say they got it right. I think, we just have to be just disciplined in our coverage.
Good luck the rest of the way. Thomas Deku of the Atlanta Falcons, thanks for joining us here on Sports Center.
Most definitely, thank you. Meow.
I love the extra meow at the end.
And then we got a lot of tweets. People say, why don't you guys do that? We've done it like 3 or 4 times.
I was just going to say, people are like, oh, you haven't done the meow game. We've done the meow game. I don't quite get it. I've already pulled over. Like, I can't pull over any farther than I've already pulled over, Dan. I've already pulled over.
Next, people want us to make a GIF.
I can't pull over. I can't do it. There's no words there. Can't.
Sorry.
I was waiting for something.
Oh, sorry.
No, never mind.
What? I thought you were waiting for a clip.
I was. It's not there. It's not there. Doesn't matter. We don't need it. It was funny without it. John Gruden went a little nuts on Monday. People were actually sending me tweets. It was during the Monday Night Football game. People were sending me tweets that maybe he was high. Maybe he had done some butt chugging.
See, I haven't heard this yet.
Okay, let's give that a listen. Let's give that a listen, Christoph.
I love this song. God bless Tony Romo. Make my day, Trico. Go ahead. Make Cowboys, Bears. Clint Eastwood. God bless Texas.
I discovered him at Senior Bowl 2005. Wasn't smart enough to draft him, though. Proud to have you as my friend, man. Congratulations. 100 games on Monday Night Football.
Get this out of here.
Look at that guy.
Stop it.
I mean, what's going on with Gruden? He needs to get back behind his, he needs to get on the sidelines of an NFL team.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
I think he was fine. I think you know how you get if you're just really excited and you got a couple cups of coffee, and he was just really jacked. I didn't find anything wrong with that.
All right.
He's an excitable man.
Yeah, he is very excitable. I feel like he's going to be leaving the Monday Night Football booth before long. He's too good. Wanted to also mention, Dan, this, I thought of you, and I'm hoping you'll tell this story.
That's
for
nice.
us.
Did you think of caressing my hand while thinking of me?
I don't think I'm going to try to caress your hand at various
don't.
points during this podcast.
No.
This week there was sort of a weird thing that happened. So the Maclean's magazine, everybody reads it. What did you say? It's a cross between the New Yorker and People or something?
James Cebulski is the only human I know that reads it.
Probably reads it on the toilet.
I don't even see it on magazine stands when you check out.
So Maclean's put out their top 50 restaurants.
All right. Harvey's number one.
Harvey's is number one, and then New York Fries is number two. Jacob Rickler, the son of Mordecai Rickler, is the Maclean's food critic, and he compiled the list, and everyone was ridiculing him for it because it was very poorly done and incomplete. And specifically, David McMillan.
Wait. It was top 50 restaurants. Yeah. It was incomplete, so he didn't do 50?
No, he did 50.
I thought
he did the wrong 50.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Just 33.
I don't have enough time. We gave you a year to do it.
So he left off a couple of restaurants that specifically in Montreal. And David McMillan, the owner of Joe Beef, which is just an incredible restaurant. He left that off, and then he left off Au Pied de Cochon, the Temple of Foie Gras in Montreal. And Dan, we went there together. And that's where you told me that your friend was blind, and I believe you. Can you tell us this story?
I sent it as a joke. I sent you an email because I was meeting you for dinner with I was helping with a hockey school because I know a lot about hockey and how to teach it. Actually, I just go there and hang out in Montreal.
Tell us about the friend you brought. Tell us about some of our listeners might know.
But I sent you an email because we were meeting you for dinner. I said, by the way, the guy I'm bringing is blind. So I thought you'd be like, yeah, whatever. But you never responded to that email, and I totally forgot about it. So 2 days later, show up at dinner, and you never mention it. You're being kind of quiet. Then finally, like 20 minutes into dinner, I said, so you never responded to my email about him being blind. You're like, he's not blind, you know. And then you look like you just seen a ghost.
I genuinely thought the man was blind. And I remember when I approached you two, first of all, I was with a lady friend. Ooh. And on the way to meet you guys, we were discussing all the ways we were going to talk to you and your blind friend at the dinner. Okay, so we got to be careful. I can't try to hand him anything or he won't be able to see it. We're going to have to offer to help him with napkins maybe, or if he needs help to the washroom, I'll get up, you sit down, it's okay. So, you know, I'm like, oh, this is going to be so stressful. Then we approach you two. You're already there at the restaurant. We walk in, and I'm like, do I shake his hand? He can't see my hand. He sticks his hand out and, like, just locks in with mine. I'm like, wow, he's so accurate. He must have had tons of practice just guessing, where to go with the hand. He just goes right in there, and I shook it, and I was like, wow, that's really good. Still thinking he was blind. Then he picked up a menu. And I was like, wow, what the hell is he doing? How's that happening?
Showing off.
I'm like, is this guy? And then I'm thinking maybe he has that tunnel vision blindness, you know? And maybe he can only read like one letter at a time or something. Or maybe he was just proud and didn't want us to know he was blind.
And at this point, I'd completely forgot about the email. Then I realized 20 minutes in and
I'm sweating. Finally, you're like, oh, he's not blind. I'm like, jeez. All right. Now I understand why he had so much handshake accuracy.
Sorry about that. I still do apologize. Not really, though. He still laughs about it. No, actually, he was kind of upset, too.
He was upset that you said he was blind.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, way to go. Our guest is here with us, Dan. Before we get to him, our guests, and if you follow him on Twitter, you follow the Sheepdogs on Twitter, or you follow Ewan Currie on Twitter, you know that he's in Cleveland tonight to perform in the beautiful city of Cleveland, home of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Remember a few years ago, Dan, that Cleveland tourism clip that came out?
I still watch it.
Fun times in Cleveland today. Cleveland. Come on down to Cleveland town, everyone. Come and look at both of our buildings. Buy some food that's prepared near the street. Who knows, you might even see this guy. You should come on down.
By the way, every time I hear that, it sounds like you.
Yeah, you think that sounds like me singing.
Yes,
yeah,
but that's not you.
I like to sing around the newsroom a little bit. You think that sounds like me. Ewan Currie from the Sheepdogs. How are you, my friend?
I'm well, guys. How are you?
Oh, we're good. How's Cleveland today?
I wish I could tell you that I explored more than just the area between the venue and the bus, but I didn't see too much of it, I'm afraid.
Well, Ewan, if you go on, do a Google search for Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives map, they actually hit like 5 or 6 restaurants in Cleveland throughout that show's run.
Yeah, that's usually something I look for, too, but it's been a pretty lazy one here. But, yeah, we usually look for the good diners.
Okay, so what about Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Have you already been there, done that? You're finished with that?
I totally forgot about it until I heard you guys mention it in the intro. But I would have liked to have gone there.
If only we had interviewed you yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. We'll get better at that. The new album is out. Congratulations on that. How is you're touring the States right now? How's the tour going so far?
It's going really good, man. We've done, I think, 13 shows in the last 2 weeks, just over 2 weeks. And, we went down the East Coast and down South, and it's been a really good response all over the place.
And you just did a video, well, I guess you did it during the summer, with our guests from last week, the Sklar Brothers.
Yes, they're great dudes. And, yeah, we did a little baseball video with those guys. And they're big sports fans and big music fans as well.
We first met you, and I think you remember this. You were a bartender at the Yard and Flag at a great pub on Broadway in Saskatoon, your hometown.
Yes.
Do you remember that night we came in with the Craft Celebration Tour?
Yes, I do. I remember going to another bar after I got off work with you guys as well.
That's right. We went to, it was a downtown bar. I don't remember the name, but I remember one of our crew members almost got into a fight, if I recall.
Yep. It's like a cougar bar, basically.
And I believe the police were called.
Yeah, well, we like to go to the Cougar bars, Ewan, when we can.
Me too.
So first of all, the new album, it's out now. You recorded it now with, it wasn't completely produced by the drummer of the Black Keys, but tell us how you hooked up with Patrick and how that all came together, because he co-produced it, is that right?
Yeah, he co-produced it with a couple other guys, but, he was really he was the producer, if you want to get the brass tacks. But, we met Pat in New York last summer. We were playing at an event called Petty Fest. It was a tribute to Tom Petty. And we were, hanging out, and there's all these other bands playing and people from Saturday Night Live and various, sort of celebrity type of people there. But of all the people that were hanging out backstage, the one we wanted to talk to most was Pat, because we've I've been listening to Black Keys since 2002. So, it was a natural choice for us.
Ewan, earlier in the podcast, Jay was making fun of what I'm wearing. I'm wearing jeans and a gas station shirt. Yeah, as a rock star, you have pretty much free reign to wear whatever you want. You could wear pajama shirt and jeans, and people would think it's cool, right?
I've worn that before. I've definitely worn that outfit.
Good. We might send you some Mark's pajama shirts and jeans, actually, after this podcast. Add to your wardrobe on the road.
I would wear them on the bus and maybe off the bus as well. I would love that.
That sounds good. Hey,
you can get away with it with anything. It's you can wear pretty much like a jean onesie, or you can wear a pimp outfit, or you can wear all spandex. There's really no rule to rock and roll.
What if everyone in the band wore individually either a jean onesie, a full spandex outfit, a pajama top? Like, just everybody wears different clothes, and for one night, maybe for tonight's Cleveland show. What do you think?
Well, it would have to coincide with the night where we come on stage to YMCA by the Village People. It's something we've been joking about doing for years.
What one choice of clothing you probably, I don't know, maybe a rock star could get away with it, because I see at least 20 pairs a day where I live in North Oshawa, pajama pants.
That's like on men?
Yeah, these are people that just don't care.
Exasperated by
They
this.
just don't care. They go to Home Depot to get like a can of paint. I don't know. Obviously, they're not going to paint it because they haven't even taken the time to get dressed properly.
I feel like you have to have a couple kids before you can start that kind of depressing portion of your life.
Perfect. Dan's got 2 kids. It's perfect. Dan can start that portion of his life right now.
Dan, you have my permission. Go ahead.
I love how he phrased it, the depressing part of your life.
Sorry.
No, it's great.
There's no need to apologize at all. Ewan, I know you're a huge sports fan. I know you're a big baseball fan. Very quickly, are you a Jays fan? And can we talk? Or are you a fan of a different major league team?
No, I back the Jays. I like all baseball.
What are your thoughts on the season? Obviously, a huge disappointment. What would you like to see happen with your baseball team?
Well, I mean, the expectations were probably a little more than the personnel on the team probably warranted. I think people were getting a little too excited. Obviously, injuries kind of decimated everything. But, I don't know if we have the pitching yet. We're still kind of a couple pitching pieces away from really being able to compete in the best division in all of sports. I like kind of the moves they've done where they've been locking up like Batista and Encarnacion kind of before they can cash in on their big statistical years. I think that's pretty smart. And, I'll be optimistic for next year. It was a tough one.
What you don't want to do in pajama pants is get a little excited. Or a lot excited.
Hey, get off the pajama.
Sorry, it's in my head.
Jeez. Unless you got that big binder from high school that you carried around to protect your there.
Why is Dan always carrying a big binder around? He's always erect. He's always completely stimulated. Hey, I wanted to ask you about NBA too. Are you getting excited about the season? Are you as disgusted as I am that the LA Lakers were able to get Howard and Nash and not give up Pau Gasol? I mean, it just drives me nuts. Then maybe you're a Laker fan, you, and I don't know.
No, I root for the Raptors, which is disgusting and for a whole other reason. But I try to get over being disgusted because like every year, it's like it's not Dwight, it's LeBron or it's Kobe or doing something. But the drama, it's good for the game. It's cool having these superpowers. I mean, when you look at the glory years of the NBA and it's like Magic and Bird and all those teams going at it, those teams were loaded. You had like McHale and Bird and Parrish all on one team, and Kareem and Worthy and Magic on one team. Those were loaded teams. So, as much as I want to hate on it, I think it's going to make for a pretty exciting season.
Ewan, I hate to say it, but we've got to let you go. But before we do, Dan and I are going to be in Saskatoon, I think late November, and I feel like we need to get your advice about, first of all, are you going to be back in your hometown around that time so that we can come and knock on your door and harass you and hang out with you again so you can take us to a cougar bar like the Sutherland or something? And if you're not going to be there, you're going to be touring, aren't you?
I'm going to be, I'll just miss you. We'll be starting our Canadian tour by then, but I can definitely point you in the right direction of all the good cougar bars in Saskatoon.
Okay, give us three must-stop places in your hometown. Like if you're sending someone to your hometown and you say you got to go to these 3 places, doesn't have to be bars, could be food places. What are your 3 kind of ideal favorite stops in the beautiful city of Saskatoon?
Sure. Okay, I'll give you a couple here. I got, let's see, for dinner I would go to this little Chinese place called Jin Jin, and it's awesome because nobody speaks English, and it's really hard to order and very frustrating, but the food is amazing.
That's perfect.
And then I would definitely head over to the Yard and Flagon for a nice pint or two after that, as you guys well know. I know you're acquainted with that place.
Yep.
And then if you've reached that part of the evening where you've had enough libations and you just want to go all out, then you got to head over to the worst bar in town, also the funnest bar, the Colonial, which we infamously mocked in our Rolling Stone article last summer.
So, Ewan, since we're going to miss you in Saskatoon, here's the deal. You're in my hometown of Peterborough, Ontario, November 1st. So Onright and I will come down, and we will take you out. So we'll start at the Pig's Ear Tavern, have a tray of beers. Yeah. Then we'll maybe hit up the Red Dog, which is famous for live music. Go to Spanky's. Spanky's.
Yeah, we'll go to Spanky's for sure.
And then we'll hit up the Moho, the Montreal House, to end the night.
And we won't do any butt chugging, Ewan. As far as I know, we won't do any butt chugging.
Butt chugging, if
That's
you haven't
big down here in the U.S.
Yes, Ewan knows about it.
Yes, he does.
Ewan, literally, someone was telling me about it in, I don't know where, maybe like Knoxville or something.
Yes. The University of Tennessee, they had a bit of an incident. Aaron Ward is an expert on it. If you have any questions about it, just tweet at Wardo, and he'll explain everything about butt chugging. Right. Hey, listen, best of luck in the States and the rest of your run down there. We'll see you in Peterborough, and congratulations on all the success of the new album. It's great talking to you, Ewan.
Thanks, dudes. See you soon.
What a good guy.
The Sheepdogs, Ewan Currie.
Yeah, that was fun.
Can't wait. November 1st.
It's going to be fun. We're going to have a great time in the Peter Patch.
I've taken you there before. We went and saw Jerry D perform once.
We sure did. I had a great time at Spanky's. And it's not what you think. It's just a pub. It's not a place you go to bend over and get spanked in your pajama bottoms.
They're probably, I guess probably in New York. See?
Spanky's.
Here's
what?
These stupid new coins.
What?
Well, it's one of these commercials, this Tim Hortons commercial. Everyone's showing off their loonies. If I was a vending machine guy, I'm irate because it won't take any of the new Loonies or Toonies.
Yeah, it's true. You're absolutely right about that. It won't.
So is the Mint going to help pay for the reconfigurations on all these machines?
Probably not. Maybe we just all need to stop using so many vending machines.
And why does the Mint advertise? We have to get money.
That's a good question.
Oh, just a waste of money.
Wow, you're really bothered about that, aren't you?
I'm more bothered for what the vending machine guys have to do because my dream is to have a vending machine business. Just stocking those with goodies.
I thought your dream was just to work repairing vending machines because you're wearing a shirt that would be appropriate for that.
I can't repair anything.
So from now on, are you going to start coming into Sports Center wearing nothing but a suit jacket, shirt and tie, perfectly pressed shirt from Mark's and a tie, and then pajama pants and just a raging which you will conceal with your binder. Would you just hang the binder on the...
Why not, eh?
Why, as a grown man, am I carrying a binder?
Well, maybe you got some... Maybe for once in your life, you're going to prepare for one of these shows.
Hey, I have the writing utensil.
Oh, that's right.
Strokey hand.
Oh, strokey hand on right.
And I forgot to tell you, we were talking about Mark's, the jingle before, and I wrote down... Did I give you my 2 jingles?
No, well, you were all excited,
Yeah.
so... I
have 2 jingles.
Last week, we talked about the fact that the jingle, Mark's Workwear House, more than just great workwear, that's non-existent anymore, unless you live in Peterborough, and they've gone rogue.
They've gone rogue. So here's my 2 jingles.
Okay.
Again, we'll talk to the advertising firm if they like them.
Sing them for us here.
Mark's Real Clothing. Get it on your body.
Okay, why real clothing? What is all clothing real?
I think. Well, if I go to their website, I think it's Mark's Real
clothing. Like that's what compared to what? Imaginary clothing?
Mark's.
I'm wearing. Why are you naked, Dan? I'm wearing imaginary clothing.
Mark's and Marks.com is their website, by the way. Mark's Smart Clothes, Everyday Living. Okay, so Mark's Smart
Clothing.
Oh. Get it on your body. Okay.
Okay.
And also...
We're workshopping this jingle.
Mark's Awesome Clothing. Better than your crap.
So you're basically insulting the wardrobe of the customers who come into the store. You're saying you look like garbage. And so you insult the customers, and then you boast about your own clothing. I feel like you need to really think this through a bit more.
I'll work on it on the beach in Cuba.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Cuba. You're going to have a good time down there. You're going down, you're going to hang with the ladies.
There it is.
Oh, boy.
Oh, Jesus, come on, get the guy. I had my last meal last night. Had a Big Mac meal on the way home from the show, so preparing myself because I have.
Keep in mind, just to put this in perspective for everyone, you had a Big Mac meal at what, about 2:20 a.m.?
Probably 2:40.
2:40 a.m. Just crushing those 2 all-beef patties.
Love it. And then I had A&W today. Wow, this is I'm not preparing my body properly for Cuba.
Well, maybe you are. Maybe you just need to get fatten yourself up so you don't have to eat all next week.
And the other thing I wanted to address, we have an address, and this is our 3rd podcast, about our YouTube clips that got taken down.
What do you mean?
From all our SportsCenter clips.
Oh, yeah. Well,
because a lot of people were wondering where they went.
Okay, this is what we're going to tell people. I'm glad people are asking about this. I don't think we should talk too much about it, but all we can say is we're working on it. Stay patient. Be patient with us. We are working on it. And soon, I believe those clips that are gone will be back.
You make it sound like we were divulging like Canadian military secrets.
All I will say is it's a bit of a sensitive issue right now because there are copyright issues and such. But if you're fans of Mr. Logue, everyone knows Mr. Logue, who's the guy who posted all our YouTube clips. We're doing our best to make it all work out. So stay tuned. That's all I can say. There you go, Dan.
Wow, I'm on edge now.
Yeah, well, get ready. I'm going to stroke your hand if you're not careful.
Before we get to our mark of the day, our famous mark, because it's the Mark's perfectly pressed shirts.
Why do you always struggle? You want to say pants all the time.
I'm obsessed with pants, I think, that we've discovered
Mark's pajama pants.
They have those.
Get yourself a boner and put it on.
We sold Mark's one shirt this past week.
That's right. One of our producers, after hearing the fact that we were sponsored by Mark's Perfectly Pressed Shirts, went out and bought a Mark's Perfectly Pressed Shirts, took his wife out for their anniversary wearing the Perfectly Pressed shirts, and then promptly got laid in the Perfectly Pressed shirt.
I thought you were going to say he took his wife to Mark's for their anniversary. It's a good spot.
That wouldn't be bad. They have that cold room there where you test out all their winter coats. You can just go in there and
can heat it up.
Yeah, get it all heated up in there.
So before we get to the Mark's the mark of the day, we had a contestant recently on the Price is Right. Don't know if you heard this, but it was the worst bid in the history of the Showcase Showdown.
A pair of designer coats, an amazing amazing trip to Finland, plus a pair of snowmobiles. It's all yours if
Just wait, pause that.
Right.
Pause that.
Snowmobiles?
That was the other part.
A pair of snowmobiles.
A pair of snowmobiles. Can we hear the snowmobiles again? Then we'll let it all play from there.
A pair of snowmobiles. It's all yours if the price is.
Now here comes the bit.
What do you say?
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
14,000.
Oh, my God.
9,000. No, I'm sorry. 60, 21,000.
Jesus.
10,000.
Mary, you're all over the place.
All right. 10, 20, 28, 18,000.
Oh, my God. Are you serious with this?
It is.
50, 57,000.
Oh, 57.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, man.
18,000.
Oh, my God. Oh, this can't keep going. This has to end.
0, 0. No, that can't be right.
At one point, she bid 85,000, and then she went to 10.
How did
18,000?
This is a perfect example of why Drew Carey should not be hosting this show. Bob Barker would have shut that down. Bob Barker would have been like, enough, or I'll spay and neuter you.
Okay, so the way the what is it? Do we even have a name for this? The famous mark?
The mark of the week, right?
Mark
the
of the
Mark's
week.
mark of the week.
So we let the Plinko chip fall, and then it plays the mark of the week, and Jay guesses it. We shorten the Plinko board.
Whoa! Whoa!
Can you name that mark?
I'm really embarrassed. I can't remember who sings this song.
Why would you ever be embarrassed of not knowing the lead singer of this band?
Was it...
Can you name the band?
I don't know if I can. Is it The Outfield?
No. That was... That, they sang Josie's on a vacation far away.
Was that Mark Paul Gosselar from Saved by the Bell?
Nope. Mark King, lead singer of Level 42.
Oh, Level 42. Oh, man, I'm going to pay for that. Oh, man. You're making it. I'm 1 and 2 now.
Well, we can't make it easy.
Yeah.
So you didn't get Mark Harmon. You didn't get Mark King, but you did get...
I did get Mark McGrath.
Mark McGrath.
From Sucre Ray.
Extra.
And extra, exactly.
Am I the only one when you see Ricky Ray on the field or saying Ricky Ray's name, you sing that song?
Are you Ricky Ray?
Who wants to know?
They should have that as a jingle at Argos games.
Are you Fay Ray?
Every time Ricky Ray completes a pass, they should. Are you Ricky Ray?
Next week, I'm going to be in Cuba.
Yes, so this is going to be interesting. We are still going to do the podcast together, but Dan, you're going to be coming to us live
from a beach.
From a beach.
If my cell phone works there, I'm getting a Caribbean plan.
I'd like the Caribbean plan, please. There we go.
You'll hear this music in the back. But the problem is, we tape our podcast at night.
Yeah.
So I got to go easy on the cocktails all day.
As if you're going to. I would encourage you to butt chug all day in Havana.
I'm not going to be in Havana.
Oh, you're not?
Havana's in the interior. You aren't on a beach if you're in Havana.
Oh, I see. Well, I thought maybe you just go there and smoke some cigars and
you know what I'm going to be? I'm just going to be bashing James Duthie's name. So if he's ever on a plane that lands in Cuba,
right,
they'll be running at him with sticks.
Okay. Well, wow, you really want to cause harm to Duthie. Tell him to walk around all day with a binder on his. What? Ewan was the one who suggested it.
He did say the B word.
Well, he's right about that, though.
I'm really looking forward to November 1st now.
What? We're doing Movember again.
Oh, yeah, so we start Movember.
Yeah.
And we go to a Sheepdog concert with the hairiest guys on earth.
Can't wait. It's going to be fun. Yeah, we'll be starting our Movember mustaches.
So, yeah, if you want to YouTube the Sheepdogs, their latest song. The Way It Is. YouTube it.
And also...
directed by the Sklars.
And go to iTunes and subscribe to the Jay and Dan podcast. Thank you so much for making us the #1 podcast on iTunes Canada, by the way. Much appreciated. And while you're at iTunes, why don't you hit download on the new Sheepdogs album? Help those good Saskatchewan boys out. They've got a great voice. We didn't even talk about the fact he played football for the University of Saskatchewan.
He did?
No kidding.
Wow. An actual athlete.
Yeah, he is. Not like us. One of us is walking around with a gas station shirt and pajama pants. O'Toole just took his gas station shirt off. Ugh.
I unbuttoned it.
I'm about to reverse butt chug it through my mouth.
I'm on vacation mode in like 1 minute.
Yeah, all right. Well, you enjoy your vacation, and we'll talk to you from Cuba. We want to thank Christoph. Christoph's the best. He's the one playing right here. He's playing this Cuban music for us. He's got instruments. He's singing. This is him singing. Christoph, a beautiful voice. And Mike Gentili, our producer, does a wonderful job every week for us. Once again, the Twitter handles @JandDanTSN, @JOnRight, @TSN O'Toole. Send us your tweets. We've really appreciated all your very kind feedback about the podcast. Continue to listen, subscribe on iTunes, and check us out at tsn.ca/podcast.
And go buy some shirts, will you?
Yeah.
Marks.
Yeah, perfectly pressed ones. Thanks for listening, everybody.
They're going home. Brought to you by Mark's Never Iron Perfectly Pressed Shirts. This is the Jay and Dan Podcast.